How you going, everyone? It's Christmas time, so different uniform for me today. But I just thought I'd share a little bit of a video. I've had a patient already come in this morning with some shin splints. And I guess the first question they asked me is, do I have to sit out? Like, do I have to stop running? So one of their fears of coming into book was like, oh, I'm going to see the physio and they're going to tell me to stop running and running's bad for me. But, obviously they love running. I love running too. So the short answer for me is no. I think managing shin splints is complex and, you need a very multifactorial approach to get the best answer. So in the short, I don't recommend stopping running completely. I guess the common thing we'll see with these patients is they'll get shin pain, they'll stop for a week, it'll go away. They'll start running, it'll come back. They'll stop for 2 or 3 weeks, it'll go away. They'll start running and it'll come back. And then they come and see me after 6 to 8 weeks of resting. And, that makes it feel better, but it doesn't help you get back to running. And I'd much rather see you after the first time so that, we can get back running effectively without it reflaring, as opposed to just sort of doing this, rest, gets better, breaks down, and you're sort of stuck in that cycle. So I guess what is shin splints? It's an overload of the inside of your tibia bone. That's traditionally where we see it. So it's typically from doing either too much running, too far, too fast, too frequent, too little rest, or not having enough recovery, or maybe not having enough strength in that area. And you essentially just get this cumulative fatigue of either the bone, the muscle, or the interface between the bone and the muscle. And that's what tends to cause your pain down the inside of your shin. I guess probably the big thing that we always want to assess with these, and this is why we would often say, please get your shin splints assessed, is when these are left ignored, they can progress to a stress fracture. So if you are having pain on the front of your shin, or pain, about the size of a 50-cent piece on the bone, you really need this assessed quite promptly. Because if you are running with a stress fracture, the potential for it to progress is quite enormous. And if it progresses, that's just not a good outcome for you, and you will be missing running for quite some time. So I guess if you come into us, what we're going to do is have a bit of a chat. In our assessment, we'll watch you run. There is some amazing things we can do with your running technique that can really offload your shin pain. And that way we can keep you actually running, maybe even the same volume, just with a few technique changes to do that. We'll have a bit of a chat about your shoes. We'll have a look at your feet. We'll often strap your feet to unload your shin, sort of mimicking an orthotic. We can provide you with an orthotic if appropriate, but probably that first session, we'll just strap it to see if an orthotic will be effective. And then we'll run through our assessment. We've got our force plates here, so we can measure your calf strength, we can measure your knee strength, we can measure your glute strength. All these things are really important in managing shin splints. I think the biggest thing we'll see is this demographic has very low quad, glute max, and more importantly, calf strength. And so they're just unable to resist the forces that go through your shin when you're running. So yeah, we do a really thorough assessment with that. Once we've sort of dived into maybe what is causing your shin splints, in terms of, say, some of the biomechanics of your run or your strength, I always like to have a bit of a chat about how far you've been running. So look, I'm on Strava, tag me, add me, or bring in your phone with all your Garmin data, and we can have a look. Learning how long you've been running for and what type of running you're doing, how fast you're running, what your heart rate's doing through that, and how hilly you're running, I think are really important variables, because we might see your shin splints coming on, and then we have a look at your data, and you've started a new course that involves a lot more hills. And so one of the first solutions we might be doing to keep you running is like, can we just keep it flat? Can we reduce your pace, keep it flat, and slightly reduce your distance? That way you can keep running and keep training towards that event. But also, and that will give us the time to give you some exercises with which to build up that calf, quad, glute strength, so that running uphill, your leg is more tolerant of it, and therefore going to get less pain. I think one of the things that we really pride ourselves on the clinic here is our return to running sort of roadmap. So, we'll go through how long you've been running, how long you've been having that pain, and we'll give you very specific running to do that'll be appropriate to whether you've been running for 20 years or whether you've been running for 2 months. We always have that goal in mind, whether you want to just do the local park run or you're training for a half marathon or a triathlon coming up. we'll help map you out from that first session to that event, an effective running dosage that will get you pain-free as well as performing how you want. So yeah, I guess that's, to summarize how our session would be in the multimodal. We'll have a look at why it's happening, dive into your running data as to what's causing this, dive into your biomechanics and have a look at, what's strong, what's weak, what needs to be stretched, what needs to be strengthened, run you through an effective return to running program so that you can perform and be pain-free, as well as educate you about all the little things that will help you in terms of like shoes, sleep, food, gels, correct socks and all this. So yeah, if you've had shin pain or you've got a friend that's got some shin pain, tag them in this video or send us a message on social media or contact the clinic, because seeing, shin splints is something I really love treating. I think it's something we're really effective at. So, give us a yell. But if you do have pinpoint bone pain, please call us as soon as possible, because we really need to make sure whether running is safe for you. Any issues, give us a yell, give us a like and a follow on the page.